Hello, my retail friend. The holidays are here. And while most people are slipping into cozy mode, fuzzy socks, pumpkin spice lattes, holiday twinkly lights everywhere, retail workers are bracing for one thing: the schedule. This is the season where everyone else gets more time with their families, more time to shop, more time to relax. But in retail, this is the season where your life gets put on hold and the store, the customers, their priority. Your schedule, it isn't really yours. It's the store's. You're asking yourself, when am I working? When can I rest? When do I shop for gifts? And how do I make all of this work when the days I want off usually fall right into those holiday blackout dates? You already know you'll be working most of the season. Not a surprise. The stressful part is not knowing when you're going to get those days off or if they're going to be approved at all. It affects your sleep, your energy, your mood, your holiday joy, and the time you could spend with the people you care about. So I started thinking, it always makes me wonder, was retail always like this? Were holiday schedules always this draining, this demanding, this all hands on deck? Well, I did a deep dive. Spoiler alert. Yeah, pretty much. So, have a seat with me. I'm going to show you why holiday schedules ended up this way. Retail didn't just become hard. It was built this way over an entire century. So in today's episode, we're starting with something that helps make sense of all of this: the history of holiday retail hours. I know. Could you just die? I love history. Welcome to Sorry It's Discontinued, the podcast that brings you real stories, real retail, and the real people behind the counter. I'm Hillary, a former luxury beauty manager with 25 years in the industry. I'm here to share the heart, humor, and hidden truths of working in retail. So have a seat with me. Sorry. It's discontinued. Imagine it's the 1920s, the very beginning of modern holiday retail magic. The 1920s. The world is glittering with jazz, sequins, and streetcars, and department stores are the heart of holiday and Christmas shopping. And the biggest names of this era: Neiman Marcus, Dallas. They opened in 1907. Saks Fifth Avenue, of course, New York's new fashion icon. It had opened in 1924. Macy's, retail giant, Gimbel's, huge competitor. Marshall Field's in Chicago. Wanamaker's in Philadelphia. Harrods and Selfridges. Harrods and Selfridges. Say them separately, Hillary. London Royalty. Lawn Bunmarsh, Parisian Perfection. These stores didn't just decorate for the holidays. They literally performed Christmas and holidays. So let's imagine what it looked like. Giant holiday windows telling full stories, fresh pine, garlands draped over marble banisters. They had literally live orchestras and choirs performing on balconies, children looking at the window and toy displays, luxury shoppers dressed in their finest. The air was filled with perfume, pine, and polished wood. It was magical, but magical for the customers. Employees? Not so much. Holiday hours in the 1920s. This kind of shocked me. 6-day work weeks, 10 to 12-hour shifts, mandatory late nights, no days off in December, no overtime, no schedule changes. Schedules were carved in stone. You showed up, you did the work, and you worked till you were released. Work till close. Oh, That's exhausting. You'd stumble home exhausted, and then you'd have to do it again the next morning. Holiday magic for shoppers meant holiday marathons for workers. So let's go forward a little bit. The 1930s, the Great Depression. That was a heavy time, heavy hours. Money was tight, shoppers were cautious, retailers were desperate to survive. But December still meant holiday traffic. So, holiday hours in the 30s, stores were open until 9 or 10 p.m., extended hours for weeks, no extra staffing. Employees were stretched thin. Holiday decor, it was really simple, plus time off requests, almost non existent. If you had a job, you were grateful at that time. But December, it drained every ounce of energy out of you. Now, let's fast forward. Do. The 40s. Wartime holidays. Picture the 1940s. World War II. Rationing. Families separated. Yet holiday shopping continued. And as comfort, a symbol of hope, people would go shopping. Neiman Marcus, Saks, Macy's, Marshall Field's, they all adapted. Holiday hours in the 40s, early World War II years, shorter hours because they had to ration the hours. Late war and post-war hours were expanded again. Many stores opened until 8 or 9 p.m. And the women dominated the retail workforce because, of course, the men were deployed. Now, staff shortages, because of the lack of help, were challenging. So all the staff, of course, had more responsibilities. The decorations were more modest, but the meaning was deeper during that time. Employees still carried limited flexibility and minimal days off. All right, this is one of my favorite decades. The 1950s, the boom that changed everything. Now we step into the 50s, America's post-war boom. More families, more suburbs, more spending, more holiday traditions. And the retail powerhouses, Macy's, Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, Sears, exploding nationwide. J.C. Penney, Marshall Field's, Bergdorf Goodman, Harrods, Selfridges, Zakowitz in Texas, a luxury store rising. This was the decade that established the retail holiday blueprint we still use today. Holiday hours in the 50s. Stores were open until 9, 10, even 11 p.m. Entire Christmas floors, Santa visits, the parade started, evening events, gift sets became massive, and catalogs exploding. Hello, Wish Book from Sears. At this time, suburban expansion really pushed massive store traffic. A lot of these stores were one-stop shops for holiday. Huge toy sections, larger crowds, and longer hours for staff. By the end of the 50s, the system was locked in. We had no hope. Long December hours, mandatory availability. You're lucky you got a job. Heavy customer volume. Keep those sales rolling in. You don't got it, sell what you have. Holiday pressure, emotional and physical exhaustion. This is the foundation of the retail holiday culture we know today. Now we're going to shift after this big boom. We're going to go right into the 60s. And this is when the mall era really begins. Because of the suburban boom in the 50s, suburban malls began to boom nationwide. Anchor stores, Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, start to dominate. Holiday hours stretch to accommodate growing crowds. Evening shopping becomes normal, and employees work more weekends than ever. So holiday season, it's all hands on deck. All of this time, all of these decades, it's just building and building this fury of manic holiday energy. And it really becomes official retail culture. And it grows and it grows. Then we head into the 70s. Bigger stores, bigger expectations. Can you imagine shopping in the mall in the 70s? All the fabulous hair and clothes and more malls, more specialty stores, longer gifting seasons, extended Christmas Eve hours became standard. Last minute shopping crowds, people coming in the last few days. And retail workers began reporting severe holiday burnout. Even back then, schedules tighten even more. But flexibility, it did not exist. Still. All right, let's head into the 80s. Peak mall culture. I remember I was there. I love my 80s mall. Yeah, it's good times in Akron, Ohio. It was a great mall. It still is. It's still there. Not as busy. But 80s peak mall culture, mall Santas, huge toy sections, food courts, early morning shopping promotions. Black Friday, that's when it begins to take shape in the 80s. We can thank the 80s for all the fabulous things, including Black Friday. So holiday hours stretch further. And December staffing, it becomes mandatory. What is the name of the mall Summit Mall. Summit Mall in Akron, Ohio. I used to go with my mom. And if I was really lucky and she had some money, I could get something from Gap or Benetton. And then we'd go to Orange Julius and we'd have an Orange Julius shake and the best hot dog with the onions and cheese. It's like the worst food ever, and it was so good. It was such a treat because it was very rare that we would go there, especially when I was younger in the 80s. Mom, we didn't have a lot of money, but Summit Mall. I just recently went there. Well, it's been less than a year, but I went to the Sephora there. Still a great mall. Go check it out. Akron, Ohio, Summit Mall. Support some businesses. All right, let's skip to the 90s. I love the 90s. I graduated in 94. It was a crazy time, though. I hardly remember half of it. The rise of big box retail, that's what happened in the 90s. Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Toys R Us explode. This leads to earlier openings, later closings, bigger staffing demands, even more weekend requirements. The culture of no time off requests in December. This is standard. Stores got to make that money. Got to make that money. So 2000s, the online era begins. Amazon. Online shopping grows like crazy. Cyber Monday is invented. Retailers panic to compete. And holiday hours, still long, still late, still stressful. So some retailers even start experimenting with 24-hour holiday stores, midnight madness sales, and Black Friday openings at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., and then midnight. Retail workers, you're just trying to survive December, thinking, bring on January. But at the same time, a lot of the time, I need my money. This is the money-making month. Make as much money as I can. For one, because I need it. It helps get me through January when it becomes so slow, or even February. But then the challenge, the shitty part, is you're losing time with family. When you go to sleep at night, you get back up and you go back to work and you're missing time with the people you love and care about, or just a fucking nap. I mean, it's exhausting. So after all of this, the story completely shifts. Everything changes in the next era. It all changes. So when you start to look at the last century, you realize something. Holiday retail, it didn't just happen this way. I don't know why. I never really thought about it until I was preparing this episode. It's like, how long has it been like this? I was thinking maybe 40 years. I could see 60s, 70s, 80s especially. But I didn't imagine it had started over 100 years ago. But then again, of course, at that time, there wasn't unions. There wasn't people advocating because they couldn't. I mean, women were struggling for their voice and so much was going on in the world. Still is. So here's the twist. Everything changed in the 2000s. Online shopping arrives, store hours shift, Black Friday explodes, labor laws expand. Thank God. Retail evolves faster than ever. And then motherfucking COVID hits. And that reshapes retail schedules more than any event in modern history. So, I want you to think about this. How much has changed in the last 5 years, but how not a lot had changed from the beginning of retail hours. But in part 2, for next week, we're going to talk about what holiday schedules look like today and how COVID literally changed everything. And what got better, what got harder, and why so many retail workers still feel exhausted, stretched thin, and out of control of their time. Because understanding the history is one thing, but understanding how it impacts you now, that's really important. I hope you'll join me next week for part 2 of schedules, where we dive in to schedules now, schedules for the holidays, and what schedules are like through the rest of the year. If you have a comment, send me a message. It's sorryitsdiscontinued.com. You can always connect with me there. If there's anything you want me to talk about, or if you even want to be a guest on the show, I appreciate that you sat with me today, and I'm sending you lots of love. Have a wonderful week. All right, retail crew. I'll see you next week for part 2. Bye. Thanks for listening to Sorry It's Discontinued, where we honor the voices, stories of those who've lived life behind the counter in retail. If you've loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a fellow retail warrior. You can support the show at buymeacoffee.com/sorrypodcast, or you can leave me a message. It's sorryitsdiscontinued.com if there's anything you want me to talk about, or even be a guest on the show. Now, the views, opinions, and personal experiences shared on this podcast are my own and those of my guests. They do not reflect the views of any current or former employers, brands, or companies that may be mentioned. All stories are shared with care, honesty, and respect. Names, titles, or identifying details may be changed to protect privacy. Now, thank you for sitting with me today. I'm sending you lots of love, retail crew. Kindness is contagious. So spread your beautiful smiles, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Sorry. It's discontinued.